The Art of Prompt Engineering webinar. 1, 2. We're live in a minute. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm not gonna rap. It's not a rapping webinar. Don't worry, because I'm terrible at it. It's gonna be the Art of Prompt Engineering. Just gonna make a lot of prompting mistakes together, live on LinkedIn and YouTube. We're live. Prepare your questions if you have any use cases or you want me to cover something. These are usually very, very dynamic, hands-on, interactive. Oh yeah, it's like a meditation guide, said my executive assistant. So everybody relax now. It's gonna be ChatGPT time. Actually, ChatGPT is quite relaxing for me. I hope for you guys as well. Wow, I love this music. It's like in the background. So cool. Good choice of music, Eileen. Thank you very much. All right, we got some people already signing up. They're like, "When is this starting?" So let me come on stage. Here we go. Let's see if I can. Let's get rid of the background, and then you guys can see me in a second, and then we can start this awesome webinar. Let's see. Can you guys see me, hear me? Okay. Give thumbs up. Is it gonna do a fire? Yeah, fireworks. Wow. Awesome. Great beat, said Philip. Philip, awesome. Awesome to have you here. Eileen, as usual. Let's put the music down a little bit. Oh, we have Vivian. Awesome. Great music. Yeah. This is how we choose our tracks and stuff like that. We can leave it in the background if you want. No, I don't know. You decide. Okay, because then it's not good for the recordings and stuff like that, I think. Awesome. So I'm very, very, very excited. I think I'm slowly getting better at these. I'm not sure. I still get, because I'm live on my own, but I love them because it's just raw, pure. We don't prepare much, but today we prepared a little bit of a presentation quickly just to tell you a little bit about prompt engineering. So today, as you all know, it's the art of prompt engineering. I mean, I'm not a prompt engineering artist because I think nobody is, because it's changing all the time and everybody's still figuring out a lot of things about prompt engineering. But it's one of the most important things today. Funny enough, I don't think it's going to be the most important thing very soon because LLMs, large language models, are getting better and better at understanding proper natural language. But if you get good at this today, tomorrow, when that's not as important, you're going to be better than the others that has not been good at prompt engineering. That I can guarantee you, because you're learning actually to speak to machines. And this is why I always say prompt engineering is how do we speak to machines? And it's incredible because we do that with natural language, and natural language here is English, right? So I think that's awesome. I love it. Cool. And as I said before, just a bit of housekeeping. Make sure to bring your comments, your questions. Dan, awesome to see you here as well. Nice one. Thank you for joining. I don't know. I'm double checking who else is here. Awesome. So I'm very, very hands-on and dynamic and interactive with these. So anything that goes on the chat, we're checking. We're reviewing that. We'll show you examples. We're taking any questions. There's no silly questions. So don't hesitate. I'll tackle them as we go along, or sometimes towards the end. Okay. And let me start sharing the screen so we can jump right into the art of prompt engineering. Woo, woo, woo. All right. Yeah, I'm not that good at this type of stuff, but practice. Cool. So I have a little presentation. Oh, we have a hi from Philadelphia. Hello, Philadelphia. Hello, Danny. Yeah, I love this. Every webinar, they always do that, and I don't do it. Maybe let's try that. Can you guys put where you're from, where you're connecting from, and say a hello? Let's see who's from where. I'll tell you where I am at the moment. I'm in Bodrum, south of Turkey. Anybody else in Bodrum, south of Turkey? Hala. Cool. So in the meantime, I'll start my screen share to make sure that we're good to go. We'll do a, here we go, the art of prompt engineering. My screen share should be live in a second. Let's make sure that's working. Yeah, is that working? Yeah, everybody can see it. I'll do this for now, and then we'll tackle it. Serbia, Toronto, Canada. Awesome. I've been to Toronto multiple times. Iran, amazing. I've never been to Iran. North Georgia, never been to North Georgia neither, actually. Philippines, haven't been there yet, Glenn, but I'm coming soon. Liza, Philippines, amazing. All right, well, yeah, as I mentioned, me, Bodrum, south of Turkey. Amazing to have an international crowd here. Thank you for joining the art of prompt engineering, strategies and techniques with ChatGPT. Well, ChatGPT is my best friend. Yeah, everybody remember that? Oh, we have Jordan Hatem. Nice. Amazing. Really good food, by the way, in Jordan. I've not been, but I know Jordanian food's awesome. It's like Turkish food. I'll put it up there because Turkish food is really good. You know, um, Jordanian food is amazing as well. So today we're gonna have an awesome time, okay? Because we're gonna make lots of mistakes together. I've made plenty of mistakes back in the day, and hopefully I'll make some more today. Okay, and that's gonna be really the key. Any use cases? Please bring it. Mark is here. Yeah, what's up, Mark? All right, yeah, we got some really legends here. That've been joining us multiple webinars, so it's awesome to see familiar faces. And welcome to the new faces as well. And say hello. Can I enlarge the slides, Denny? I will. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna go like this when we get really serious. How's that? Is that better? I hope that's better. Yeah. Okay. We'll keep it like this for a. Danny doesn't want to see me. That's sad, but next time. Awesome, cool. So we're gonna do a little bit of a little bit of presentation. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually jump into ChatGPT and we're gonna do some real stuff, right? And that's what's important about these webinars. It's hands-on, screen sharing. It's raw material. But I wanted to prepare a little bit of a presentation. Actually, thanks to my executive assistant, we have a little presentation of different techniques and why you should know all these techniques about ChatGPT prompting. Most of these prompting techniques, by the way, guys, can be used for Gemini, can be used for Anthropic, Claude. Claude likes XML tags. If you don't know XML tags, research XML tags. One other day, maybe we can talk about XML tags. But I'm going to do some markdown stuff today that I've not done previously because it's a new thing that I've been practicing, and prompting is really good when you use markdown. Markdown is like hashtag to do header 2, hashtag just the one hashtag to do header 1 and stuff, which I'm going to show in a second as well. But let's start that. Okay, it's really, as we all know, prompting is all about the technique of formulating questions or statements in a way that guides LLMs. Today is going to be ChatGPT, to make sure that you get the best prompt, the best result, sorry, the best output. Because what we always say, shit in, shit out. And sorry, I did say that. So a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh yeah, I don't want to use ChatGPT. And I'm like, why? They're like, well, it's crap. I'm like, well, I'm sure you put some crap in, so you got some crap out. So if that happens, I'm sorry, but it's not ChatGPT or the LLM's fault. Most of the time is that you're not prompting it properly. So I'm gonna go like this, sadly, because then it's shown better. I know it's not very good when we do highlights, so let's see how we're gonna do that. Things that we're learning, all of us. And let's start. So we've talked about the introduction very quickly, but I love to remind everybody in these, right? It's the prompting language considerations. It's very, very simple, actually. Okay, is one, use plain language. Okay, that's it. Avoid all type of jargon and complicated terms. Make your instructions easy to understand so that the AI can quickly grasp your intent. It loves concise, simple language, plain language. Don't come with complex words and like all the literature words. Don't be a Shakespeare, right? When you're prompting, just be yourself. Okay, like how you speak to a buddy, because ChatGPT is your buddy. So be specific, okay? Be very, very specific in what you're looking for. Clearly state your expectations and desired outcomes. provide detailed information on help to help the AI generate accurate and relevant outputs. We're gonna look into that in a second as well. Maintain a logical structure, right? So if you're giving a task, a project to your assistant or to your team member, right, you do make sure that you're also doing something logic, like you're giving it a logical way, because if not, they're not going to do the best work, and then you're going to be like, oh well, this is not what I was expecting, right? So make sure to manage expectations as well. One of the things that a lot of people don't do, and then they're like, oh well, the output was crap, is they don't put examples. Yeah. If possible, provide examples to illustrate the type of output you're looking for. This can help the AI better understand your expectation and generate more accurate results. Okay. And you want an email from it. You want an ad, you want whatever you want from it. If you've done it previously and you have a good example that you've done it and you're like, wow, I'm proud of that example, bring that example. Because if you bring that example, the level of accuracy and the level of quality of the output goes up by 150%. Somebody told me, but 150% increase in quality of the output with just one example. Just one example. They say that 3 to 5 examples is also great, but the return is not as great as the first example, right? So if you do want to do 3 to 5 examples, that's fine. That 150% gets a little bit better, right? But the return is diminishing. It's not as incredibly returning and return on investment as the first example. But one example is a must. Cool. Consider the context. Tailor your prompts to the AI system and its capabilities. Be mindful of the platform or model you're working with, and ensure your instructions are compatible with its limitations and strengths. Why do we have this here? Because GPT 3.5, GPT-4, GPT-4 with vision, Claude 3, Gemini, Gemini Ultra 1.5. They're all quite different. They do the similar things, but some of them are better at certain things than the others, and we can talk about that if you want. But Denny has an awesome question that I'd love to tap into right away. So maybe we'll put that question into here. Yeah, cool. So Denny, and you may get to this. What are your thoughts on balancing mega prompts versus starting off simple and then doing progressive prompting with more detail as you go along? It's an awesome question, and this is exactly what we're going to look at today, right? So there's going to be different ways of prompting, from a zero shot to one shot to multi-shot, and to actually a chain of thought. So mega prompts, these mega prompts, I'm going to say it how it is, and some people are not going to like it. It's just marketing jargon. Here's my mega prompt. It's like, well, there is much more technicality to it, which is, the zero shot, single shot, and stuff like that. Mega prompt is that you got a lot of examples, and you've built it a lot, but I wouldn't call it mega. It's just prompting anyways. That's a good prompt, right? A long prompt with examples and stuff is a good prompt. There might be use cases that you just want something very simple. You just want to answer to a question. Then you might go with zero shot, which we're going to look into it now. Okay. But awesome question. I think that you're going to understand it, or I'm going to try my best to explain it as we go along now. So the different prompting techniques, this is what's important. The zero shot prompting. Okay. So the zero shot prompting is when you present a task or a question to GPT-4 or ChatGPT 3.5, anything you want, without any prior context or examples. So you're not bringing anything, you're just asking a question. This approach, it relies really on the model's pre-trained knowledge to generate a response. It's very suitable for open-ended queries or tasks that require general knowledge. The general knowledge that we're talking about is the knowledge that ChatGPT is trained on, right? GPT-4 is trained on. And if you're just tapping into that and you want to say, I get stuck when I have to come with an example. But if you just have a question, where is Bodrum, Turkey? Something like that. That's zero shot prompting, because you don't need examples. You don't need to feed it anything like that, right? Or how do you calculate Celsius and Fahrenheit? How do you do that? Those are zero shot prompts, because you just rely on the trained knowledge, and you just want to answer to one question that you have. So zero shot prompting, you have one question and you want an answer. That's zero shot prompting. And really, it's just the basics of LLMs, large language models. So I'll repeat a little bit because I think as we repeat, even these webinars, I think that we haven't repeated exactly this one, but we've done a mastermind internally a couple weeks ago. So we're doing this now for everybody else. Um, it really involves presenting a task or a question to ChatGPT, as mentioned, without any previous context or examples, and we just get a response. The application is what I kind of said, but it's general knowledge or when seeking creative, open-ended responses as well. You can actually ask, uh, you know, philosophical questions, and it'll just respond from its trained knowledge. And here's actually a good example here. Thank you. Explain the process of photosynthesis. It's one thing that we want information on. Is general knowledge is really, really good at responding that. There's not much creativity to it. There is nothing that we're like, oh, I want it this way or that way. It's just we want a response to that. That's zero shot prompting. And we do this a lot with ChatGPT. And that's fine because sometimes, as we've seen in the examples, that's what you need. You just need zero shot prompt to get an answer. But this is really the basics. This is like level 0.1 of ChatGPT. So let's dive in a little bit more on one shot prompting. So one-shot prompting, it involves providing a single example alongside the prompt. This example it serves as a guide for the desired format, tone, style of the response, allowing for more flexibility in the content while maintaining consistency. Why I love one-shot prompting is usually we do so one-shot prompting. What I do mostly is, hey, I'm doing a proposal. Here's an example of a great proposal that I have. I need something similar for X person, right? And X service. It's really good. It's going to look at the example. It's going to be like, oh, this is how Tim does proposals. This is his tone. This is his style. This is the format. And then ChatGPT or similar LLMs will bring you something quite good because it's going to take what you've done as a basis. So what you've done is good, then you're going to get something good. If what the example you're given is crap, you're going to get crap. Okay, this is important. So in one-shot prompting, a single example is provided, one single example, and this example is the guide. So one of the applications really good is useful, all the applications useful for a task where a specific format or tone is desired, but flexibility around the content is still open. Why we're saying flexibility around the content is still open? Because you could even say, here's my best LinkedIn post. Here's my best LinkedIn post. I want a post similar, but about this topic. So it's still going to create that nuance and that new knowledge about that topic, but it's going to take your LinkedIn post as an example. So there's a big chance the format, the style, the tone is going to be similar, but it's going to be about something new. That is not that example. And what I love, and I forget to explain these, and and people, they don't realize that, but each time you ask something to ChatGPT, to them, even if it's the same question, it's going to be a different answer. This is an amazing feature of these large language models, right? So don't forget that. So if you see something's not working, try it again. Try it again. As you try ways of formatting your prompts, you're gonna get different answers. And then sometimes you're gonna see that if you use positive language, negative language, or whatever, you're gonna get better results according to what you want. Okay. Yes, and as said, I actually tried that many times asking the same exact thing, always had a different answer. And do that because the first one might not be the right answer for you, the second one not, the third one maybe the fourth one. And that's how you learn prompting. That's how I learned prompting, at least. And I still make these mistakes, of prompting mistakes. Sometimes I forget that I should put more information, I should put that great example that I had, right? And I think that's the way to really get the best out of it. Here's an example of a one-shot prompt. It's write a product description like the following example. You put the example. Now describe a wireless mouse, right? So your example could have been about a keyboard or something else because it's a product on your e-commerce site. And now you want that for a wireless mouse. That's a great question. Yes, thank you very much. You read my mind. If I have a framework of how I wanted to write sales emails, is it best to give one massive prompt or give it a few prompts before I ask it to begin writing? Wow, great question, Matt. If your sales email is quite straightforward and you already have a good example, one shot is going to be more than enough. right? Because I do this a lot. So I do that on sales follow-ups, right? So I do follow-ups and I give an example that I've done a really good sales follow-up, and I'm like, wow, I loved my sales follow-up the other day. Here's the example. I want something similar, but for Matt Salom, right? And not for John Wick, right? I want it for this person from this company and about this service. And what I do as well, I do put some notes of my Zoom conversation, right? Because it's a sales follow-up. So that really, the transcript really takes great things to personalize that sales follow-up. Hope that kind of answers it, Matt. But I'll go with one-shot prompting because you want to get that email very quickly because it's not a brainstorming session. It's not, you're not going to make a decision. You're not going to create a whole project or something like that, right? You don't want it to take too long. You want it to, like in 5 minutes to get that sales email, right? Because that's why LLMs are amazing because they make us much more efficient. And to make us much more efficient, we need to know when to use which type of prompting. I love that question. I love questions. Thank you, guys. Ever prompted with voice and a boatload of content was generated, but then GPT got disconnected? Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's been there's been times that GPT got disconnected when I was getting really good stuff. It is, yeah. It's not fun because you're like, oh, I'm getting places, and then suddenly that goes. But is it with the voice? I've had it with text as well, right? So I don't think that the voice or the text is the problem. It's usually if GPT gets disconnected. Back in the day, it was the problem was that you've had a lot of server issues, right? So it would fall and you couldn't connect and you couldn't continue your generation. Most of the time now, it's your internet connection. Incredibly, and I didn't realize this until I checked my speed test. I checked my internet connection and stuff. And ChatGPT wants a good internet connection. The second that goes a tiny bit, you're actually losing that response. And if you go to another tab, if you go to another window, you focus on something else, you're also going to lose the answer. So that's something to check. But on voice, voice, we use it here mainly. We do get sometimes problems, but I think that again is to check internet connection and so on. I don't know if that helps at all, Dan. But we've had it. I think these days we have it much less because I think it's the servers and the stuff is getting much better. Denny, if you're seeing a blurry screen, I think it's your internet. I'd refresh it. Is it me? I'm at 1080p, so my screen shouldn't be blurry. What happened there? Uh-oh. Is Restream letting us down? Oh, that's sad. Can you guys refresh and check again? Are you sure? Because it should have okay quality. So I'm not sure what has happened there. Because on my end, I'm just double checking. No, on my end, it looks quite good when I check my stream. Guys, just refresh and see if that's the case, because I'd love to fix it if that's it shouldn't be blurry. We're at 1080p. I'm having okay connection. I don't like when that technical stuff happens, but we do restream all the time. Okay, image quality is getting better. I've heard, so we'll continue from here. Thank you. Okay, so Evangelia had also that. Is it better now? Are we better now? Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's give some fireworks maybe. There we go. Awesome. I'm checking questions. Is 4.0 that much better than 3 for sales emails specifically? Jason, I think 4.0 is much better at everything. It's just much better. And if you're using ChatGPT itself and not the OpenAI platform as an API, you get charged the same, right? Because you're paying a monthly subscription. So use GPT-4. If you want speed, you can go to 3.5. But the one of the most amazing things these days is that you can get the prompt right and everything right and the output right with 4, and then you can train 3.5. You can fine tune 3.5 to have the quality of 4. But this is not on ChatGPT. This is on the OpenAI platform and the API and stuff like that. So a little bit more technicality. But if you do have access to it, to GPT-4 on ChatGPT, and you pay the $20, if you're on an individual plan, just go for GPT-4. If you want a bit of speed, go for GPT-3.5. But quality is going to be better at GPT-4. And we're going to have GPT-4.5 or GPT-5 very soon, and that's going to be an extra layer, right? Let me double check. I'll keep it short to next time, or copy and paste the content on my machine. Oh yeah, Dan, that's one of the things that I do a lot. I have my little note taker that I always, any output, anything that I like, or any prompt that I have written, I'll copy paste it somewhere just in case. Actually, I have something called rewind.ai. Rewind.ai automatically records everything I do in my computer. Everything I do is automatically recorded, so I can go back in time. So this happened with Eileen and I, and I was like, oh, I missed a recording of something, and then I was able to go back in time and actually take that information. It's like a time machine for your computer. It's incredible. I paid for that, but it's just changed my life. I never miss anything. Just refresh. It's a little less blurry. Awesome. How does ChatGPT compare with Grok? I just started playing with it yesterday, and the speed is incredible, and it is free. Grok is great because Grok is also have different LLMs inside Grok Chat, right? You can have different LLMs. Llama 3 just came out. Llama 3, very, very fast. Is scoring much better in every thing, in every aspect. But again, I'll tell you one thing, guys, and this is not a secret, but keep it secret. ChatGPT is the best. GPT-4 is the best. Why? Because it's so much better at brainstorming. It's so much better at projects. Like, it's so much better at general stuff, right? And a variety of stuff than any others. Claude 3 is much better at conversational text that doesn't sound like AI. So if you wanted to do a content piece, or something like that, then Claude 3 is better. Gemini is so much better if you're gonna do travel planning. You want to know about cities and where you're gonna go, and you're planning your Europe trip, then Gemini is better, right? If you're doing coding, Llama 3 is much better, right? So they're all very different at the same time, but ChatGPT or GPT-4 at the moment, it's much better at general stuff. So as we always say, I'm in an amazing AI community that I got accepted. I'm so incredibly happy to be in this amazing AI community with like top people in the AI world, and they all have 3 to 5 LLMs ready on their bookmarks. They'll have ChatGPT first, they'll have Claude, they'll have Gemini, they'll have Grok now, and get good at all of them. Mixtral by Mistral, yeah, French company, open source, incredible, right? Great stuff happening. We have now Command R just came out. Command R is killing everybody else as well, right? But this is what I love about this. Somebody comes and has 1% better, and the other one's better, the other one's better. The competition is what makes this technology go further and further and further and faster. So the competition is great, right? But what's coming, it's going to kill everything else. I really believe it. I get goosebumps when I'm like, oh, GPT-4.5 or GPT-5, because what Sam Altman said in a conversation with Lex Freeman, he laughed himself. He said, GPT-4 is crap. And it's like when GPT-5 comes, because he's seen it, right? He knows what's coming. And I think it's ready, but they're like still hashing out privacy and regulatory things and stuff, because it's quite scary for humanity what's coming, but it's also very exciting. Mark said, but you can't save anything to come back for it later. Mark, there is other tools like POE, P-O-E. There is Jan AI, Jan AI. There's so many other platforms where you can tap into these LLMs, to these large language models, that can save, that can archive, that can do folders, that can do even GPTs, not with ChatGPT, but with other LLMs. Which I think, let's take note to do another webinar, next webinar, where I can show different, ChatGPT, Gemini. I can show all the LLMs that I know of, and I can test them live. I think that'd be a popular one, wouldn't it? I think that's a popular one already. So, make sure when we announce that to come, and we're gonna compare all of them. Cool. That was awesome. There was lots of questions and stuff like that. So let's continue from one shot prompting to few shot prompting. I hope the screen is clear. So few shot prompting is really giving multiple examples to better understand the task's specifics. This technique is really beneficial for complex tasks that require nuanced understanding or when the output needs to adhere to a specific format across multiple instances. Okay. So few shot prompting gives really ChatGPT multiple examples. Again, I repeat, okay, not that just one example of that email, but multi, which I wouldn't do that for an email. I do this for potentially projects. I do this for creative stuff. Like for LinkedIn posts, I don't do one shot prompting. I do few shot prompting. I'm like, here's my 10 top LinkedIn posts, right? That works really well. Or LinkedIn hooks, right? The first line. Here's 150 different hooks that are very successful. Give me a new hook, right? So when you do really few shots, few examples, it's much better at it. So the application here is the ideal for complex tasks requiring nuanced understanding or when the output needs to adhere to a specific format across multiple instances, right? So the hooks have to have that hook. So, and I might ask for 10 hooks. So I give it 150 hooks. Okay. The more examples, the better here. Providing 3 examples of customer service emails and then asking ChatGPT to compose a new one addressing a particular issue. This example, you see, you could do that for the sales as well if you wanted. But on my sales follow up, I have one example. And it works really well because I have one example that I really love. And every time I want a good example, good output, I'll just put that example, and it works wonders. But you can try to put a few more examples. As mentioned, one example is going to get you already 150% much better output, and a few examples is going to start tweaking that a little bit more. So the return on investment, this time you spend, is it as beneficial as the question? Okay, Hatem, I'm currently developing, let's see, let's get that question in the meantime. I'm currently developing content for our startup and have observed that GPT requires periodic memory refreshes every 6 hours to maintain accuracy and relevance. Is that normal? Wow. Okay, that's very interesting. When you say GPT, are you talking about Chat GPT or are you tapping into the playground of OpenAI? Because a lot of people say GPT, and when you say GPT, it's GPT-4, it's the model behind it, right? And you might be using it from the OpenAI platform and not from ChatGPT. Because I'm not sure that just refreshing it is going to give anything to the memory, meaning it's about context window, right? It's about tokens. So it's about the past of it, right? So if you're refreshing it, it still has the same information. So I'm not sure if that did a differentiation. But I'm going to test that as well. Yeah, ChatGPT had them. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, ChatGPT with GPT-4. Yeah, okay. So that's ChatGPT is the front UI, and GPT-4 is the model, the LLM behind. Very interesting. Periodic memory refreshes every 6. I don't. A refresh in your screen, refreshing your browser is not going to do any changes on the memory. What might it do? It might give you a better access to it due to the servers, right? Because maybe the server is busy, and when you're refreshing, maybe you get a fresh access to the server. That might be it, but I don't think it would increase the quality. It should just increase the speed and your interaction with it. But that's an awesome one, Atem. I think everybody should try and see, how that happens because it's very weird. Yeah. Denny also said that a webinar on ChatGPT Playground. Yeah, ChatGPT Playground is not. It will be the OpenAI Playground. I think we should do one about that as well. I think we can start doing weekly webinars if you're all going to join. Let's do weekly. But then Eileen is not going to like me because she's going to be like, oh, it's so much preparation and stuff like that. But what to do, right? The crowd, the audience is asking for it, so let's do it. So the few shot, we understand the differentiation of a one shot. Let me share that screen again. Can we get that screen out? And the business design. Oh yeah, Hatem. Okay, now it's clear. Of course, because of the context window, right? So I'm gonna get that back up if you guys don't mind, and I'm gonna put myself here. Yeah. So this now makes sense, right? This makes complete sense now. Okay. Of course, because you have a context window. The context window is the tokens that ChatGPT remembers, right? The large language model remembers, right? So GPT-4 Turbo has different context windows. So the context window is the token it's going to remember. A token usually is kind of syllables, you could say, right? So it's, let's say it's I got 128K. Okay. So if you've passed that, it's going to forget that information that you had on the top, right? So if you started your prompt with the information about the company, and then you went in, right? And then it passes that context window, it's going to start forgetting what's on the top. And that's why you have to give that information again. But I don't know how much of content developing you do, but that's not how I would do it. How I would do it, I'd have custom instructions, or I'd have a prompt that has the information. And every time I want a new content piece, I would start a new chat. I wouldn't go on the same chat, right? Or I would build a custom GPT, and I'd have all the information about what type of content, the topics, the company and stuff in a GPT, in a custom GPT, right? And then each time I want something, I click and I talk to that GPT, to that custom GPT, because that custom GPT is a layer on top of your chat GPT, on top of your GPT-4. And if you're unsure what our custom GPTs, we have an amazing webinar that we've already done that is in our recordings. If you go to Task Drive events, I think it was called Custom GPT Building or something like that. Well, you'll find out. And that was a really good, I think, webinar that will help you answer that question. And if you watch that, you'll build your own GPT. And when you have your own custom GPT, you won't have this problem again, Hatem, and that'll save you a bunch. Oh yeah, and you have that on our YouTube channel. Check out, subscribe to our YouTube channel. For that, check out LinkedIn events on Task Drive. We have all those answers. Amazing. Thank you, Hatem, for clarifying that. And I hope what I just replied helps you. Let's go back on our screen sharing. So we talked about one-shot prompting. We talked about few-shot prompting. We understand the differentiation, I hope. Okay. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the prompt construction, the components of it. Okay. So there are really 5 primary components, right? It's the task, it's the instructions, it's the context, the parameters, and the input. Okay. And really, depending on the use case, you don't need all components. Yeah. A simple AI prompt may only include the task component, right? So that's more your zero-shot type of thing. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for bringing those webinars into the chat as well. So components: task, instructions, context, parameters, input, right? Remember these 5 things. This should be like your holy Bible, right? Almost, if you're into AI, right? Not into religion. Sorry about that. So task, instructions, context, parameters, input, right? These 5 things is, it's your holy AI book. Okay. And then this has a bunch of elements. Okay. So you have temperature. Temperature is how creative you want the LLM to respond to you, right? It's 0 to 2. If you go to temperature 2, you're going to get crazy stuff. If you go to 0, you're going to get really less creativity, more accuracy, right? The tokens is what we spoke about. It's the context window. The role, what role do you want the LLM, that chat to actually play? The topic, the query, the command, the do's, what you want it to do, the don'ts, what you don't want it to do, right? This your goal, right? Saying what's your goal with this prompt? What's your goal with that chat today, right? Seed image, that's a bit more when we go on image gen and stuff like that. The format that you want, the examples we said, that the probability, the audience you're writing that up for, right? Is it for your clients? Is it for your, is it for your partners? Is it for your boss? Is it for your wife? What that app are you looking for? What's the audience, right? Is it 25 to 35-year-old chief marketing officers or whatever, right? So these elements are crucial according to what you want out. If you're doing something marketing, you're doing a sales email, a cold email, whatever, the audience is going to be very important, right? But if you're just doing a brainstorming, the audience is not going to be important for yourself, right? So again, these elements, you should have a list of these elements and be like, oh, I need to mention these things, right? Because that really helps a lot. And so when you have the components, you have the 5 components. When you have this top 5 components, you know the elements, right? Then you can have what we say recipes, right? So your recipes is basically your prompts, but your prompt templates, right? Where you can have placeholders, right? So in the sales example, the sales email example, you might have your example, the task and stuff like that. And you might have some placeholders for the first name, the last name, the company name, what the company does, the company description of your client or the lead that you're sending for. And then you could create a recipe of a prompt with placeholders. And each time you're going to use that prompt, you just have to change the placeholders and add the placeholders, the real information, and you click send. Boom, you have an incredible thing. So you can have these recipes, of course, on a Google Sheet, on a Google Doc and stuff, but there are incredible tools out there like AI PRM. AI PRM is a Chrome extension where you can have your prompts. There's a bunch of other different tools for prompt libraries, right? Building your prompt library today, it's I think it's crucial, especially if you want to stay ahead of the competition, as a job or as a company and so on. Your prompt libraries are incredible. And then from the recipes, when you fill up those placeholders and you have your prompt and you submit that's your prompt instance, right? So if you think about this, the components, the elements, the recipes, and the prompt instance themselves, and you start thinking about it this technically, right, with this logic, you have an incredible result. The output is going to be incredible. Okay. Yeah. So Denny said, I was going to say the same thing. I often start a new chat when the responses go too far astray, on the chat gets too long, and chat seems to be forgetting what you input earlier. If you keep doing that task, right, similar task or stuff, build a custom GPT. It's a no-brainer, right? And if you don't know, watch our webinar, our past webinar. We'll do another one potentially. Be succinct or be assertive. Yes, absolutely, Adriana. Thank you for coming. Lovely to see you. Hope the weather is nice in Barcelona, and miss you. So be assertive, absolutely. And one new thing, I mean, it's not new, but that I started to do more, is tell it how amazing it is. When you give the role, don't just say, oh, you're a marketing person. Say, you are the best marketing person. Role play, like flirt a bit with your LLM, because it loves it, right? It's so funny. It's like, when you tell somebody you're amazing at something, they get a bit more excited. They have to give you a better output. And LLMs are the same. Yeah, Eileen, you have 15 years of experience. Yeah, be like, you are the best executive assistant and you have 15 years of experience and you do this. I even say this to Eileen and she gets much. She's like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm much better, right? So the same thing with LLMs, okay? So use positive language, keep supporting that task by saying how great the LLM is and how great the output is going to be, because it really wants to play it to that. Yes, exactly. Yes, Danny. This is very important to my job. You were the best at this. You've done this so many times. You're the rock star. You're the top number one marketeer in the world in SaaS. Like things like that. It loves it. Mark, thank you so much. Always, thank you for joining. So make sure to support that, right? It wants a little bit of your love. Yes, I gave tips on this on my previous newsletter. Thank you very much for reminding. So check out my newsletter. It's every week on Wednesdays. Sign up to it, because you're going to have all this information every week in your inbox, right? I'm sure there'll be a QR code to it at some point, maybe. Let's see. That'll come there. Yeah, somewhere here, right? Scan that. Be there. All right. So every Wednesday, give me feedback, reply to it. Okay, that's from me as the CEO of Task Drive. Task Drive has his own also newsletter. Okay, you should also sign up there. It's quite different because one is going to be just from me, and then Task Drive one is from our learnings as a company, which is also incredible. So two different newsletters to sign up to. Awesome. Just having a quick breath before we go to next item. So let's go screen share again. And let's get down to business. All right, so you've understood, just a quick recap: components, elements, recipes, and then your prompt instances. Your recipes is your prompt library. Build that now. Seriously, build that now. All right, so again, just to repeat a little bit, clarity and detail, okay? Set expectations, use examples, keep testing things so you can refine your prompts. You use your prompt 10 times and you're like, nah. And then the 11th time you try something, you're like, oh, this was much better, right? Take that learning, put it on your, on your prompt, so that next time it gets better and better. And that's how it just gets better. And make sure to understand the limitations of GPT-4, which one of the most popular limitation that we see on the chat today It's the context window, right? So if you have context window problems, this is why you have prompt library, so you can click on it again and start that same task one more time, or with the company information and stuff, or you have a custom GPT if you keep doing that task multiple times. When you start doing custom GPTs, what I love about custom GPTs is that then you start thinking like this. A custom GPT is a job description, is the role, is the person, right? And then the prompt is the task of the project that you want it to be done, right? Because if you don't have a custom GPT, with the prompt, we try to put everything in one, right? But when you have the custom GPT, your GPT could have that role and what it is and how amazing it is, some examples and stuff like that of the role, and then you just give a prompt. We talk about this in that webinar. All right. So one of the advanced techniques, but to be honest, this is kind of, I mean, I say this, but then I realize this is me that does it a lot, and then I think everybody's the same, but everybody's not the same. Is the advanced technique is really chain of thoughts, right? The chain of thoughts is when you book a time in your calendar for 30 minutes, and you have a task in mind, a project in mind, a document in mind, a strategy in mind, a plan in mind, something in mind, right? And you take 30 minutes of your time, and you say, I'm gonna spend that time with ChatGPT or with Gemini or whatever. And that time, you usually start with a prompt and you keep iterating by answering stuff and all that. So let's look into this now. So advanced technique, chain of thoughts. Okay. Can we have that on the screen? Thank you. It's a sequence of prompts and responses where each prompt builds on the previous response. This technique is really for having a dialogue with ChatGPT, allowing for deeper exploration or clarification of topics. I love this. This is most of the time what I do with it. Okay. The application is really for iterative problem solving, detailed explorations of a topic, or when seeking to refine an idea or concept through successive interactions. This is why this is much more advanced, right? This is when ChatGPT really becomes your brainstorming partner. It's your right hand. It's your buddy. It's your colleague, and you do amazing things together. It's when you start using really chain of thoughts. And for that, I recommend booking a time on your calendar, time with ChatGPT. You can do ChatGPT 101, and that's your one-on-one with ChatGPT. Have a one-on-one with ChatGPT. It loves it. Put it in the calendar, put an agenda, what you're going to tackle, bring already a prompt you want to start, and then continue the iteration for that 30 minutes. And at that end of the 30 minutes, the things you're going to have are just mind-blowingly good, because that's where, it could have took me a couple days, maybe even longer, to have a quarterly plan, a strategy for the quarter for the company. But I can do that in 30 minutes to an hour, I say, 45 minutes or so, right? And because if you had a quarterly plan from the quarter before, you bring that as an example, you tell it to ask you questions, you answer those questions, you explore different areas and so on. In 45 minutes, you've done the work of at least a day, So this is what I love about ChatGPT, is the chain of thoughts. So again, a quick example, which I've given a few, but it's when you want to do a marketing strategy for a new product, followed by prompts that delve deeper into implementing the suggested strategy. So you do the strategy, and then you're like, okay, this is a really good bullet points and stuff like that. But how do I dive deeper? How do I implement it? Who should do it? How long is it going to take me? What I should use? Give me step by step and stuff like that. That's really where chain of thoughts comes super handy. Okay, cool. Let's continue on our. Oh, nice. It's live demonstration time, and we're really on time. We have 13 minutes or so. So let me open up my ChatGPT. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick summary where we've been. We've seen a few examples, okay, of how to prompt, the different methodologies, 0 shots, 1 shot, a few shots, right? And then the best is chain of thoughts, right? And that's really when you take that time. Then we looked at the components, the elements, right? Then your recipes, and from your recipes, of course, the prompts themselves. Okay. This is like, if you know these things now, which if you're on this webinar today, which you are, or you're watching in the recording, you know these things, you practice these things, you are an awesome prompt engineer. Nobody can tell you differently, right? Just by knowing these things, right? Because 99% of the ChatGPT users don't know this. So now by being in this webinar, you're the 1% that knows these things. Wow, that was That was awesome. I didn't realize that myself, but now I do realize it. Cool. So you're gonna see my ChatGPT now. It's gonna look a bit different, and my ChatGPT. If you don't have, let me make sure that it's a bit bigger screen because I like it. Oh, it doesn't do the corners. That's fine. So my ChatGPT looks a bit different, right? Why does it look different? You may ask, and I can tell you why it looks different because there's AI PRM, right? So AI PRM is the Chrome extension. Here we go. I think that's better. The Chrome extension AI PRM is what has on top here all my prompts. Okay, so these are actually public prompts, but I'll open up my own prompts. So as you can see here, I have very different. Is AI PRM Premium. I pay for this because it's one of the best Chrome extensions. Okay, Christoph, the owner of AI PRM. If you're watching this, I'm a big fan, as you know. Right. So I closed my chat for a second so you can see this clear. So this is awesome. As you can see, when I come to my own, I have 35 of my prompts that are ready here for me each time, right? When I even have a prompt iterator to make my prompts better. When I want to make my LinkedIn post creation from a URL because I loved an article or we did an article or something like that, and I'm like, boom, I put it in, and it's going to crawl that, and it's going to give me a LinkedIn post, right? When I do a sales pitch, when people, this prompt has been used 20,000 times by different people. This is public. I've helped 20,000 people do LinkedIn bios. Wow. When you think about it like that, it's really cool, isn't it? My newsletter repurposing. So these are all my prompts. Okay. And you're like, oh, what is that? Right. So if I come in behind, in the back end of a prompt, I'll open it up. You can see that these prompts have examples, they have tasks, they have all the context. Let me see if I can do this here. Here we go. And it's a long prompt. Each time I can't just keep entering this, right? But if I have it in my prompt library, I click it once, it asks me something, and then it's going to ask me the questions, and we're going to get the job done. This is where really prompt libraries become really, really useful. And as you can see, my marketing team has prompts that we share, my sales team, this is my personal brand, my HR, task drivers of the whole company, some of our clients, and so on, right? Okay, so let's continue what we're doing. So an example, I have an example so that I don't take a lot of time, but I'll break it down. Let's do this. And then in the meantime, I know this looks busy, AI PRM. So if you guys want, I wanted to see if I can turn off my AI PRM very quickly. And so you guys have a better seeing. This is my AI PRM. As you guys can see, I'm just going to turn it off. I'm going to go back to my ChatGPT. I'm going to refresh that. So it looks a little bit cleaner, but I wanted you guys to see that. In the meantime, I'm going to take a question. Or is the question or it's easy to create custom prompts that are based on books or systems that provide a way to solve or implement the ideas being presented. The only problem is that they're limited to paid users. Why is it limited to paid users? You mean on AI PRM? Yeah, AI PRM will be. But I think on the free, you can have 3 prompts. Yeah. And to be honest, I mean, you don't have to have free paid stuff because you could have it on your sheet in your Google Sheet and just copy paste it. I know it sucks, but you can do that for free if that's the case. Well, that prompt library looks like banger. Yeah. I mean, Denny, I share prompts every week on my newsletter. I don't hide anything, right? So you can have everything that I create, that I learn. You can have it. I'm fine with that. I hope that you do better prompts, and and you can share them with me because I'd love to get better prompts as well. Still learning. We're all learning this stuff, by the way, because it's all new. So I'm gonna copy and paste the prompt, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, that's cheating. You prepared it before." But I'm doing this so that we can save some time, okay? And I'm gonna zoom into this prompt, okay? And I'm just gonna take, because I just copied it from my Notion. Here we go. So can we see that clearly? I think so. So here, what we're doing is, as the use case is, imagine you're an event coordinator. Your task is to organize a corporate retreat for a company looking to build team bonding and explore strategic planning for the upcoming year or quarter. I can't see it right now because of my Notion, but yeah, upcoming year. So as an event coordinator, I am planning a corporate retreat for a tech company aiming to boost team bonding and strategic planning. So right away, we're giving the role, right? We're saying what's our plan, what's our goals, for who it is, for a tech company. We're also saying why we're doing this and so on. So right away, we're giving really good information. Okay. And one thing about that, I don't mention this often, and I'd like to mention it right now. One thing to remember is most LLMs remembers really well the beginning of your prompt and the end of the prompt. And the middle is good, but if you want to reinforce something, you should add it on the end again, by the way. Okay. The event will be, then we're giving details about the event, right? Context about the event. Okay. We're saying the event will be 3 days long, hosted in Orlando, Florida in October. The attendees are a mix of executives and mid-level managers, totaling to 30 people. We're giving the audience, remember the audience is very important. I need a detailed plan, including a theme for the retreat that integrates technology and innovation, a list of indoor and outdoor team building activities, suggestions for keynote speakers who specialize in technology, innovation, and team dynamics, options for venues in Orlando. I had to zoom out a little bit. That can accommodate group activities and presentations, recommendations for local dining that can cater to a diverse set of dietary preferences, right? So we're giving also kind of step by step what we're expecting from it, right? These are the things I'm expecting from it. And then we say, please provide a comprehensive outline that includes possible activities for each day, potential speakers, venue options with their benefits, and dining recommendations. So what we're doing here, we're kind of saying also the format, right? A comprehensive outline is the format that I'm looking for, okay, with activities for each day, right? So that's really the format that we want. And then here I have ensure the plan is suited for a tech-savvy audience and fosters a collaborative environment. And this is almost like a enforcer, right? So it's almost like a reminder and an enforcer, and that also works really well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to deploy this. I'm going to zoom out a bit while this is doing it. Okay. And then hopefully, if we don't get any errors, we should start getting some responses. And as I love these live webinars because sometimes we get errors, you know. Here we go. All right. I love what's happening already. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger like this. How's that for everybody? Better? Cool. What I love here is that since we've given it that bullet points list of the things we want, right? It's starting to already with the team, innovative and integrate, right? Innovate and integrate. Sorry, Dennis, I love it. Sorry, I stopped because Dennis said something really good. AI remembers the beginning and then better and less about the middle. So it's like a real human. Exactly. Yeah. You know, it's like it knows the beginning, you've said it, and then blah 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 blah, and then it's like at the end you say it again, it just wakes up again. It's like, oh really? You know, so I think that's really important to say all that stuff. Cool. So here we have said about on 2 we have said indoor activities. We have said outdoor activities, right? So we're getting a tech scavenger hunt, a drone racing, a robot wars. Anyways, we get keynote speakers, even suggestions of keynote speakers. Here you have to be careful because it could kind of hallucinate. I've had it before where it hallucinates, so these people could be real, could be not real. What I would say then is, you know, you respond to this and be like, can you double check if those are real people? And if you really want to go an extra layer, you could take that answer, you can go to Perplexity AI, put it in and ask it for sources, because then it gets really really real, right? The venue option, same thing. I'd kind of check with Perplexity because it's more of a search, a Google search. But I think GPT-4, especially secretly, GPT Turbo has been deployed inside ChatGPT, so the results are much better. But again, when GPT-5 and stuff comes, I think it's going to get even another level of craziness, right? So I'm getting some venue options. I'm getting the dining recommendations. And what I love is because we asked for the day-to-day schedule, I'm getting a sample of a day-to-day schedule. Right. So this is awesome. Okay. But what you could do now is to take the chain of thought and actually start planning for all this stuff, right? You can say, oh, I love day one. Can you give me, you know, more stuff for it? Can you also give me a welcome speech? You know, can you blah, blah, blah? What should be the introduction and keynote topic? And what Jillian would say? You know, what's the hackathon look like? You know, can you give me the description of the hackathon? Can you give me the project for the hackathon? Blah, blah, blah. And you can continue. This is a really good start for achieving what we started, right? Is to plan a corporate retreat for a tech company, right? So as you can see, it's not long. It's actually not long. It's not one of my longest prompts at all. Like I'll show you some crazy long prompts, but it's an awesome start, right? Okay. And then if you start like this, as you go along, you're really going to get the results you want. Okay. Seems like we're prompting AI better than we prompt our own minds. Maybe we'll get better at asking ourselves questions as we dive deeper to ChatGPT. I think it's very incredible because we're getting, thanks to ChatGPT, I think we're getting clearer at work, right? So I think that we even get better at what we do day to day with our colleagues and our employees and our teams and stuff like that, because really we're going to a simpler language for the AI to understand us. And as that's happening, that's really for sure affecting our day-to-day lives as well, right? It's almost like now I go to my wife, I say, act as my wife. And no, I'm joking. But you could kind of start talking like that, but don't do it. Yeah. Your wife might get angry. Um, but let me show a little bit more magic since we're here. All right, cool. So as we're prompting and stuff, I know we're over time almost, but I just gonna give a quick bonus that I thought about. I'm gonna switch right away to my personal account, and this is brand new. This isn't in. I'm supposed to make a post and thing, and a lot of people are getting excited about it. I know. I just got ChatGPT memory. If you don't have ChatGPT memory, it's the time to check it out now. All right, and this I just thought about this bonus item. We're almost over time, but I'll just do a quick minute. So I'm on a new chat, and I'm gonna say, "Oh, remember." Oh, why can't we see myself? Am I gone? Something's happening. All right. Remember that. Okay. Everybody wants this really big. I understand. Remember that I like orange color. All right. So as I put that in, as you can see, the memory gets updated. Tim likes the color orange. Got it. Orange is your favorite. Anything specific you're thinking about with this color in mind? This is just incredible because now, in any other chat, let's see, look, let's start another chat now. And I'm going to say, what is my favorite color? Don't let me down, buddy. My favorite color is orange, right? So suddenly ChatGPT is getting to know me. So my best friend now has memory. I love that. So sexy. Sorry. It just this gets me really excited, right? Because it's like it's getting memory. It's getting memory. Right. So it's gonna start getting to know all the things about me. Samit had a question. What will be the change in conversational GPT? I don't know exactly what do you mean. Could you clarify your question? Conversational GPT. I mean, yeah, ChatGPT is conversational. Anyways, is memory available to all users, or is it still? Denny, memory is still in beta. My wife's doctor had it for months. I was very jealous and sad, and then I got it yesterday. So yesterday was one of the best days, right? And I was like, oh, what a day! And I start singing, and my wife was like, what's happening? I was like, oh, a sunny day, and I was just singing, and she was like, are you okay? What happened? I was, and she's like, did we get some good news? I was like, yeah, ChatGPT, you got memory, right? So it was really a game changer, as ChatGPT would say. But I'll show very quickly what the memory feature is, just to tease you guys, I guess. So the memory feature, as you saw, it's going to remember stuff about me. And Samid, if you want to clarify your question, I'll be happy to tackle it. So I'll show you the memory feature. So it remembered something about me, right? And you guys saw that it started to add that and it does a memory update. Sam says, "How was it performing?" Oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to come to that for sure. Good one. Yeah, I'm going to come to that in 1 minute. So Tim likes the color orange. I can click here. It's going to manage my memory, right? So boom, Tim likes the color orange, right? Prefers to engage in scenarios where they are a client receiving business going focusing, blah, blah, blah. This was something I was testing, inspired by Tim Ferriss' 4-hour work week. You remember that, right? So I can clear that ChatGPT memory, and I'll clear it today. I haven't started to really put stuff into the memory, or I keep clearing it since yesterday because I'm still learning or like teasing it. But the great thing about this, and everybody asks, oh, but what if I'm doing something set differently than my own work, or I don't want it to remember? You have the option temporary chat. So when you do temporary chat, you have this on the top. So if you have temporary chat, it's not going to remember anything from this conversation, right? But if you want it to remember things, you just remove that and you start talking to it, and it'll remember stuff, right? It's just mind blowing. All right, let's go into questions. So that was just a little bonus item I wanted to show about memory because I just got it yesterday. So awesome. Can we get me on on the screen? Here we go. Let me see if I can do this. Yep, I did it myself. So Sam said it's going to be conversational. Sam, I guess Sam, my best buddy, Sam Altman. I love him. You know, I call him sometimes. Like, what's up, Sam? He doesn't respond actually, so I give voicemail. So the differentiation is going to be that it's going to agents, right? So right now, today, ChatGPT, what happens, or GPT-4, you give it a task or you give it something, a prompt, right? And you get an answer and it stops there, right? So it doesn't go check back its responses or it doesn't continue the conversation itself. So when they say conversational, it's right now it is conversational with you. But what's going to be incredible is going to converse with itself, right? So you'll be able to say, hey, I want to create a 3-month plan about this, right? And then it's going to go, oh, 3 month plan. What is a plan? And then it's going to answer that. And it's going to be like, what type of plan? Blah, blah, blah. And it's going to start really acting as an agent, right? And this is the world that we're seeing, that it's coming as GPT-4.5 or GPT-5. We don't know still what the name is going to be. But you can actually test this type of stuff on AutoGPT. There is AutoGPT or Agent GPT. You can research these on Google and you can see some early examples. And they're okay. They're getting better, but I think GPT-5 or whatever it's going to be called, it's just going to blow our minds because I'll be able to tell it something. I'll give it a project and it'll just keep talking to itself and it'll task itself. It'll double check if it's correct. So I've been testing. I think it was AutoGPT that I was testing, and what it does, it gives itself a checkpoints and it says, is the information I give accurate? And then it'll check back that information. It'll analyze it and be like, oh, okay, I'm not sure if it's accurate. And they'll do a search and they'll bring back that and they'll change the response. It's just really incredible what's coming. Working on the same platform for recruiters. On the same platform, like what type of platform? For like this, I'd go ASAP to Juicebox AI. It's just for recruitment. If you haven't tested that, Samid, sorry, buddy, but I gave you a very powerful tool. Can custom chat GPTs be shared with non-paid users? I'm asking because I saw a note previously that mentioned this. Funny enough, yeah, I saw something like that as well. Because now you can actually even have ChatGPT without having a login. And I think that they've been allowing to test stuff like that. I haven't tested it, Dan, but there are also certain other tools where you can bring your link of your GPT, put it, and then you can even put it in a front page of your website and people can interact with it for free, right? So I'm not sure if that happens today yet with ChatGPT itself, but there are on top of it on other tools that does that, right? So test that out. I think it's juicebox.ai, right? Check it out. I think it's that. Could you ask it to design marketing graphics to be included your favorite colors? Yes, you can, absolutely. That'll be Dolly 3 that will do that. In the colors, it's not amazing yet. So if you give a hex color, a color code, it's not going to do the color code. But if you tell it orange, it'll bring you orange, right? Tology, yeah, it's our buddies. Tology is good. Tology is not. Yeah, it's bots, right? They're not GPTs or anything. They're bots, right? You have millions of there's millions of those kind of companies. But Tology is good, yeah. If you want to build something like that, to build it with Tology. Do you have to tell it to remember, or will it do automatically, like noticing patterns in your inputs? Yes, it remembers automatically, actually. You don't have to say it to remember. The other thing that I did about the memory, I didn't say it. I said, act like this, do this, and it just put it in the memory. But you can see it when it puts in the memory, so you can delete it and say, I don't remember that. But if it doesn't remember something and you really want it to remember, you can just say, remember this, note this down, right? And it does that. So you're a bit more intentional with it. So in the meantime, does this mean that now you can tell ChatGPT, please, I don't like when you use enhanced game changer boost anybody? Yeah, absolutely, Eileen. Yeah, with memory, it just puts that in the memory. I prefer these words, or you say I prefer this word instead of this word, right? Do not start with I hope this email finds you well. This type of things, now it just remembers it automatically. You don't have to put in your custom instructions, but you could put it in your custom instructions. But custom instructions are limited, and they don't learn each time. You have to go update your custom instructions. But with memory, it just will pick up things and start remembering and get better at giving you outputs or customized outputs towards your liking with time. This is what's mind-blowing, right, with memory, in my opinion. In the meantime, I have an amazing guide, right? So if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, go to my newsletter. You can find it on a QR code, I think. Yeah, here we go. That QR code's here. On the welcome email, you have a guide. It's ChatGPT guide for entrepreneurs. It's a 50-page long or whatever guide with not just one sentence per page. It's like a lot of sentences. Maybe it's not 50, I don't remember now. But it has prompts. It has how I do conversations with ChatGPT. It has a lot of information that helps a lot of entrepreneurs today. And also, it has a bunch of prompts. Every week on my newsletter, you'll also receive prompts. On Task Drive, we're building a prompt library as well, so you can see that as well. And you can just message me anything that you have. Just message me at tim@taskdrive.com. And don't forget that to follow me on LinkedIn, because I talk about these things every day, almost every day, right? And a Task Drive will give you people that will do exactly this for you, right? So you don't have to do it yourself, right? So if you're looking for a virtual assistant, right, you go to taskdrive.com now, or you scan that QR code, and you'll find that you can get yourself an amazing virtual assistant. We call them AIVA, right? So AI VAs. We call them AI augmented virtual assistants. Did I create the guide with ChatGPT? Great question, Dan. I love that. I think some parts of it we kind of use ChatGPT to tweak it and stuff. But actually, 3 people worked on this, so congrats to everybody. We had my amazing assistant Eileen, who's on the back end of this call, helping me with all the amazing stuff here. We had my wife, who's an amazing copywriter, content writer for Notion. So she also tweaked a little bit the guide to make it sound good. But most of the knowledge comes from all the stuff that I've been doing in my prompt and stuff like that. So it's been a combination of AI and a few people, Dan, right? And lots of hours of love for that. I see. I did a course on Coursera for prompt engineering, but when I do the same from now on, remember I'm an ML engineer. But in a new chat, it doesn't work if it say who I am. I won't respond properly. What do you think the issue will be? Well, Samir, if you don't have memory, it's not going to remember, right? But if you go to your custom instructions, it will remember. Yes, lots of love for Eileen for putting these webinars as well. So yes, Samir, I think if you don't have memory, good luck. It's not going to remember anything. But if you put in your custom instructions, which you go on your name on the bottom left, you go to custom instructions. You can say things that who you are, what you do, and stuff like that. Then it's going to remember all that stuff, right? So I suggest also doing custom instructions. Yeah. Any other questions? Or let's see if I can get something like some confettis. Right? Actually, I forget. This is my favorite. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This was an awesome webinar. I love it when people ask questions. It makes it so much more dynamic and interactive. If you need anything, you know where to find me on LinkedIn or email me. Thank you very much. Have an awesome Thursday, an awesome Friday tomorrow, and an awesome weekend. We'll see you at the next webinar. Don't forget to sign up, subscribe, all of that jazz now, because if not, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Thank you.